we take this and create this. Yeah! Hello and welcome to the channel where we try to learn to scream, and today's video is sponsored by Manuel, who was commenting underneath the last video. He was asking how to get the creak into a powerful fry scream. And as always, check the chapters. I will be talking quite something in between, but I'm sure that this video will be kind of structured as I was writing down some notes here, which I haven't done for 20 videos or something. So be prepared for something really structured here. Okay, first of all, what was the question exactly? So Manuel was writing a comment in German, so I have to translate, I guess. He was writing that he can't get energy into his creaking. If you don't know what creaking is basically the fry sound that everybody's talking about lately. This will be creaking, right? So this sound needs to be amplified somehow, but how do we do this? And he was saying, like, when he tries to put in energy, he will tighten up his throat, maybe feel like taking a dump, so everything is really tight and tense, and he will sound like a cat that was stepped on the tail. I can totally relate to this because I was at this point also, like, it wasn't even that far away, I think, like 6 months or something. And I will give you a step-by-step approach from me that works for me. So I'm not sure if there's anybody out there that has the same sense of mind and throat connection, so the words make sense, but you know, we can just give it a try and see if it works out or not. So let's go. First of all, we need to get the vocal fry here. Very basic. Without the fry, we can't do anything. We can approach this by going into a vocal break, by screaming very loudly in falsetto, like over our range kinda, and we break into the fry scream. But I don't think such a brute force attempt is really helpful, at least not for me. So when I started out, I didn't know what to do. I was just watching all the tutorials you did, and I just needed to figure out how to do the fry. And the fry is really easy. You just go from and there we are. You kind of lower your voice to the point where you can't produce a tone anymore, and then you kind of just slip in there, I think. There's not really a relation to your voice anymore, but we will make sure that we get this relation again, because we kind of, I mean, we won't start with a pitched fry scream, but we kind of need some voice, some kind of pitch or sense of pitch to get this up here. So what we will do is we will take the and a really nice sound that we can just produce, like an don't know what it is for you, everyone has another range, but for me it would be and and now we are here, and now we try to talk through it. And a lot of American people will not have a lot of problems with this, because I think you use quite some fry sometimes, but all the German people, for example, they don't usually use fry in their speech. So just try to figure this out, how to get the connection from and just try to talk through there. You will sound like an old lady or an old man, depending on the register you're using right now. And this is basically our starting point right here from our journey today. And since we just got this, we now try to get this sound up into our falsetto range. And I think it's easier to use speech doing this, because a lot of people can mimic some comic characters, just like this, right? And getting into a character might be easier than just trying to go up a scale. because not everyone is like a musician pro, and not everyone is like, okay, how do I get up a scale? Yeah, well, I didn't know either. So I just took the um, voice approach, and I was kind of like talking lighter and lighter, and my airflow just came back to the very back. Like, I'm not pushing out. If I would push out, I would sound like this. But I try to keep in here, keep the voice very light, and now I make my way up until I kind of hit this sweet spot of falsetto and creak. As you can hear, it's really easy still, and I don't do any effort at all. It just sits, I think it sits very nasal. Yeah, it does. It sits very nasal. The feeling is more in the upper throat, maybe even here in the mask. And once you got there, let's do it again. Let's start again with our tone. There we go. There we go. And this already might take quite a while. I don't know. I don't know at which stage you are. Maybe you need 2 or 3 days to figure this out, or even longer, or shorter, or you're just a natural and you go to the fry scream right away. I don't know yet. So let's go on. We will climb up the ladder of pitches by introducing some really light voice. And then we will go up and up and up, and you will feel the tone actually creep up, like the resonance and the placement. And once you are up here, it does feel the lightest at all. And maybe you will lose it. Maybe you will lose the cracking, like me. It's not very consistent, right? But that's not the problem here. We just want to figure out where it sits right now. And now the next step is very crucial, because I will stop talking like this. The next step is very crucial because for me, I do believe, like, I did this approach like 10 times or 20 times in different ways. And just to be sure that what I'm talking about right now does actually make sense and is relatable, and I can tell you where everything sits and stuff. And it's not too easy, to be honest. Like, I totally feel why a lot of fry scream tutorials feel like out of this world, and you're like, what is just happening here? So I would try to go step by step, right? And I believe that the next thing I'm telling you is the key point of getting this voice here into a fry scream. And there's really not a lot to it, but a lot of intuition and feeling. And depending on your mind and throat connection, you might hitting it right away or not. What's really important here, we don't push out the tone. Like, we don't force push it out. We try to keep it in. It's more like an but I do believe that this is kind of confusing. But let's see where you get here. So we make an A-B, right where we stopped. And we try to make an It doesn't have to be beautiful. Do you hear this? It goes on and off sometimes. It's not really consistent at all. Doesn't matter really. And you pick your tone. But I do think a good falsetto tone is crucial here. Coming from a chest voice, I believe won't make the trick. But I will check for you. Maybe later on. That's a good one. And now comes a really important part. You want to make a higher falsetto sound that is much louder. That's your B. Okay? And you really want to feel what's going on. It's really light, and has quite some engagement. pulled back airstream, right? Really important here. You don't, you keep it in here. You keep it in here. You kind of, you don't even really feel an airstream on your hand, actually. So maybe this is a good point of reference here. And then you slightly bring both tones together. And I can't really do this, to be honest. Like, I can't, maybe it works now, but I can't really make a really fluent transition from one to the other. But what will happen is I will kind of get to a point where both touch, maybe. Then I need to stop, I don't know why, and reintroduce exactly this feeling that was there before. The exact same thing. And somehow I will get into some sort of more intense fry stream then. And then it's kind of more like an engagement thing in your support area. Oh, by the way, sorry for coughing all the time. One of my kids just has a cold again. I don't know what to do, man. It always goes on the throat and then it goes away. Maybe I should stop eating their leftovers from the day. So, this is the point where both kind of overlap. I just figured something. Wait a minute. Okay, so let's do this step by step again. We will start with the vocal fry. We will introduce some sort of voice into there. So we will start talking like this, right? And now we will creep up the register. And we will somewhere end up here. Maybe here. And this is where everything starts. And then we take this sound. There's something else happening. There's something else happening, actually. And this is the point that none of the other tutorials talking about. This sound here. Needs to be there. So, I will introduce this here, and then I will be up here. I forgot to talk about the twang, I think. And this is something that just happens for me, and it's not on my notes, but I just figured, without doing the twang, just this one. It doesn't make the trick, but this one here, with the twang, I can already feel it. need to have twang. Okay, it needs to have twang. Okay, so all the American people will be like, okay, twang, no problem. I just do either a Western style imitation of some Western musician, or I just talk in my natural voice. But for us Western or Central Europeans, it's really hard to introduce twang, to be honest, because we just don't use it. At least not Germany or any other language that I was investigating in Europe is really a twang user. Because twang, don't get me wrong, but it can be confused with being annoying. And this is actually what a really big vocal coach on YouTube was saying, that to go into twang, if you don't know what twang is, just imagine a really annoying, sorry, but American person talking like this. Kind of talking like this. Wait. There we go. Yeah. So this would be twang, okay? So you don't need to make this expression, but this is twang. And you know when you hit twang, when there's no nasal involvement anymore. And while talking, you will introduce NGs and stuff, and it will kind of destroy your twang. We will need to place it tonal. So in the very back. And not in the front. Let's see the difference. So I will use NG like in twang, twang, twang. That's a really nasal sound. And we need a tonal, so you can make an no nasal activity there. And once you have this, you will feel an immediate, like it's instant, a change in airflow, I would say. You will introduce some sort of this this fogging sound, but not in a way, at least I think, that others are talking about it. You will more or less slide in there because of the twang, because you will change the direction of how you produce this tone, and then it happens by itself. Maybe I'm wrong, write it down in the comments, but for me it works. See? No twang. It's hard not to put it in twang now. Now comes twang. Let's combine. It's not pretty, isn't it? It doesn't have to be pretty, to be honest. And this point of getting the really high falsetto and the twang placed fry distortion, this is kind of like the key point here. It's a game of balance. You can't really go around there. I am trying to think about an approach that doesn't need to be so loud, because I now know that being loud is kind of like a bummer. At least for me. I mean, Manuel has 2 kids as well. It's not easy, I'm telling you, learning to scream with family in a house where multiple families live. You have to find a time and a place where nobody is annoyed of you. You can either spend money for an extra room, or you somehow get your sessions in there. Really nice thing about the twang placed fry sensation is it's not really loud. It's not really loud at all. And maybe even let's try this approach of not transitioning from this very loud one, but putting more effort in there. I mean, now I know the transition, right? So I know the feeling, the balance in my throat is already there, the muscle memory. But maybe this could work. Let's see, maybe it's too hard, maybe it's totally okay. That's really interesting. This is really interesting because coming from here, from the Twang placed fry, you will need to raise your soft palate if you go up, because I think at least me, I am raising my soft palate when I do this high pitched note. Yeah, it's really, it's up and beyond. Like, I can't push it any higher. So when I go from here, I kind of do have a raised soft palate there, but when I focus on placing the sound in the soft palate, very interesting. Like, the amount of air that I'm using doesn't change. The amount of pressure, I believe, doesn't change. It's just a placement thingy. You can hear this, right? There's a change of it also feels like putting the sound backward into your system and aiming it up in the soft palate. By the way, if you don't know where the soft palate is, just make a really nice yawn attempt. And in the beginning, where you kind of inhale and put out your tongue, if you don't put out your tongue, you now have to put out your tongue. You will feel a big stretch. Soft palate is when you roll back your tongue and you have kind of like where your teeth are ending in the top row. There will be a change of structure, of texture, of flesh material, and the soft palate actually feels soft. Maybe this is where the term comes from. And this is where you want to focus to put all your sound. And then you can slightly go from here and go there. This is the best I can do for you guys, at least now. I think I did a lot of stuff, like all the videos before. I just can't rewatch all the videos, and you can't as well. So I need to get some structure in here. I'm really trying my best. I was thinking about taking all the transcripts, put it into an KI and just ask it like, what did I do? And tell me what did I do, and then I can just read it and I can figure out what could be the next steps. I'm at the point where I think I managed to surpass the basics, and I am starting to get the curse of knowledge, at least for fry screams, at least for head fry screams to be specific. I still didn't really manage the chest fry, which I was gonna talk about in the next video. I did rewatch it and I'm still not satisfied. But yeah, this will be a topic on its own, I think. I did have a session with Britta Görtz again, which was really nice. And I was going for the pitched fry scream, and she told me some really nice tricks and tips, and I will talk about it next time. And if you are actually working on this right now, I bet you can really take something out of the next video of the pitch fire scream attempt. And by the way, Manuel was asking for Deftones and Pierce the Whale and something else that I forgot. And I know I did do some Shove It, and it's not the same. So this here, the is not yo shove it, shove it, shove it, yo shove it, shove it, shove it, shove it, shove it, shove it, oh! Which still is really nice. Or like the Let's Go from, what was the last one? Bullet from a Valentine? No, was it Bullet from a Valentine? Oh, yeah, Tears Don't Fall, right? Yeah. Let's go! That's actually, I don't believe it's a falsetto fry. Hey, let's go! Let's go! I don't think so. I think they are pulling up their chest. Wait, let me see how to get into a high one. Let's take from yesterday, the line. From yesterday, yeah! Let's go! Let's go! Yeah! Yeah! Let's go! Okay, this was really nice, but it's still not the technique. I don't believe it is. I think they're more or less doing a pitched chest fry, which this one right now didn't feel like it. But as I said, next time there will be pitched fry content more and more. Also, I was thinking about asking you about stuff that I can talk about. It's not like I'm out of topics. Like, I can go on forever. I would just show my progress, as this daily diary is about. But I thought like some community involvement might be a really nice moment here, to be honest. Like, you have questions, just ask them, and I will try to put them in the video, because it helps my progress as well. It does help you get your question answered, and it helps me, because all the time that I can put into figuring out how to explain something to someone else helps me in the end, right? And the best thing would be if you become better than me someday, because the teacher always has to be surpassed by the what is it called? Trainee, maybe. Yeah, it's like in old karate movies. The master has to fall, or he isn't a good master. So that said, I will someday surpass Will Ramos and Britta Görtz and Cutterbox Academy and all those really insane, skilled people, right? Okay, enough daydreaming. I think I managed to cut the video down to under 30 minutes. I will keep it like this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it helped you, and we will see you next time